Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's K right here. I'm back with another good video for today. I wanted to touch base on the Jamel Charlo and Brian Castano fights, but I'm gonna actually hold that off till at the very last. So I'm gonna sequence my topics that I want to get out the way because I had a lot of shit to say, but I was just so busy the past couple of days, not for the weekend, but as far as like days go, like work and life has been hitting me and my cybersecurity settings, so I just haven't really been able to cover as much boxing as much as I want to. And I think I did go live on League of Legends for like a bit, which I'm probably going to get rid of that cuz like I just do that whenever I'm bored and just to, kind of, do my thing and just kind of play some games here and there because people do know that I am a video game content creator, so anything video game related I do put onto the channel. But as far as everything else goes, let's just talk about all my topics that I want to cover. The very first topic is why I believe UK fighters are hype jobs. Um, Basically, it's going to be a rant against UK fighters, why I think UK fighters are garbage. And I'm going to explain why because I tend to understand a lot from these European toting YouTube boxing channels that try to dick ride a lot of British boxers, but then they tend to forget that British boxers are not American boxers, where they don't test themselves enough across the other side of the pond. And they're the type of fighters that are similar to Eastern Europeans in a way, where they don't want to fight a contemporary unless the contemporary is vulnerable enough to be beat. And I don't understand why, because it's like, like when we see this in men's boxing, especially over in European countries like France, Italy, Spain, Germany, all these like quote unquote good white fighters that are so good out of Europe. If they're that good, why aren't they coming over to the States? Why aren't they putting their skills to the test against American level fighters or any good foreign fighters that compete in the US? Because that's really where the sanctioning bodies are going to recognize you if you're trying to go for a world title, but that's never to be the case. But let me just cover on a couple UK fighters that have been talking shit about a lot of American fighters. This is going to be a public call out or a public, I guess, like call out disrespect video towards fighters such as Joe Laws. Who's that other bitch? April Hunter. Yeah, I don't fucking like her. Who else? I'll probably go with definitely Anthony Fowler, Jordan Reynolds, and man, who else? Man, I'll probably go with Connor Benn because I'm starting to think Connor Benn, he dick rides a lot for British boxing, and he doesn't really have like the skill set many would say he does. And then I'll probably go with maybe guys like Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington is actually going to rematch Mauricio Lara, by the way. So I'll actually be pretty excited to see that fight because, Josh, he's been out the ring for almost a year. And, I think that's a bad idea because, Lara, at this point, he's probably just taken more fights ever since, he got that huge victory off of Josh. So it's like, I think that's a bad idea for Josh to do something that's stupid. He should have rematched Lara right away, or at least take a tune-up and then fight Lara. But I mean, I don't understand why Josh he would take all that time off. It's been quite a while since I've seen him lose for the first time in a brutal fashion. So, I mean, I just don't see how a fighter like him calls himself good, but then leading up to a fight like the Lara fight, you get your ass beat by a unknown Mexican fighter that was actually beating the shit out of you, and you were basically getting pounded to death, and he had no answer to anything that Lara was giving to him. He was just getting styled on, And then when Lara hit him with those big shots, it was just game over. But let's talk about all the other British fighters, because all these, like, quote unquote British prospects, all these good British level competition that's supposedly supposed to be a better test of competition than American competition, a lot of these fighters have really shitty records. Just to let you know, let's talk about Mr. Joe Laws. In his last 5 fights, he's fought guys with losing records. This guy has never fought anybody at the top of the welterweight division, if I'm not mistaken, because I know he fights at welterweight, and he's not that interesting of a fighter. I don't see how he makes it even far, not even to the top 100. I don't see how you're gonna face some killers in the division, which which I'm pretty sure he knows damn well he gets his ass fucked by a guy like, I'll just use any unknown welterweight contender or prospects. He gets fucked by Xander Sayas. That's an all-time fact. He gets destroyed by, Mr. Brian Norman Jr., who fights at 140, but he could fight at welterweight. He gets defeated by Brandon Lee. He's a 140 pounder, but Brandon Lee would beat the shit out of him. He would get crushed by almost anybody I could think of that isn't a bum. Any top welterweight prospect that's actually on the come up, that's going to dominate the division. Because as of now, I really look at Joe Laws as a bum, and I don't think he's that good of a fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just that typical UK hype job, and he doesn't really put in all that hard work and dedication to say that he's all that good. And I say until he starts fighting guys that I've mentioned, or guys that I know he could put up a good, decent fight with. I mean, let's just say if he fought Janelson Figueroa and he actually put up a decent fight, but he still got stopped, I would still call him trash, but I would give him credit for him having balls to fight a guy like Janelson Figueroa or Mark Reyes Jr. But it's like, that's never going to happen, because I know a guy like him is never going to get embarrassed on national television to go over to the other side of the pond, get tested by some real killers in his division, and then if he loses, his ass is done, because he knows damn well if he tries to come back again, he's still going to get his ass kicked. So that's my problem with a guy like him. See, now, I know that some of you will probably say, oh, do you got a problem with, Terry Harper or Shannon Courtney or any of these, illustrious, good, up-and-coming British rising stars? Which I would say the only rising star out of Britain that y'all really have is, like, Anthony Joshua. Don't come at me with that Tyson Fury bullshit. We already know what the fuck Tyson Fury is about. So Tyson Fury, he's out of this, discussion. So Deontay Wilder is gonna murder him on October 24th, or Fury, he's already gonna get killed off anyway. So I think like to save a lot of this unnecessary discussion, we're gonna put Tyson Fury out of this whole conversation. But if we want to talk about, the female divisions or female fighters out of the UK, like fighters like Shannon Courtney or Terry Harper, or shit, who else is good? I don't know any other woman, because I don't really keep up with British fighters. I know Rachel Ball, she's a good fighter, but I don't see her to be that good either. Ellie Scottney, she's a prospect. I want to say she's Scottish. I'm not too sure, but if she is, then I got mad love for her, because I like how she fights, and she's really pretty and beautiful. So I personally would love to talk with her. But I mean, Shannon, I don't have any beef with her, but I think, like, the level of opposition she's faced leading up to a Ebony Bridges type of fight, or the Ebony Bridges fight, and now she's gonna face this Jamie Mitchell lady, who was the lady that knocked out and stopped Noemi Vasquez, who she's a decent veteran. I don't like to crap on Noemi, but she's not the best fighter in her division, but it was a decent win for Jamie to stop her. But I find it surprising, knowing Jamie's only 5-0, Shannon would select an opponent like her versus like trying to unify her belt and at least go to the higher levels, because I think it makes all the sense in the world. But I guess it's like, I guess it's her first taste of defending a world title. So I like, I give Shannon all, all the props in the world, because she's doing what, she's doing her job as a fighter. She's not trying to duck and dodge nobody, but if I do sense that she is ducking some really good competition, because I believe she fights at super bantamweight, right? Then I'm going to criticize her, because actually no, fuck it. I'll just go on to BoxRec and I'll see what opponents she could face right now, because I know damn well like she could easily unify that division if she really wants to. Yeah, but right here, hold on. Shannon, beautiful Courtney. I can't believe she used to be fat back in the day, but she's lost so much weight. And I definitely love her backstory. She used to be like a nobody at one point, but she definitely turned her life around, and I give her a lot of love and respect. But yeah, she's number 6 in BoxRec. Not a big division, but the champions that are in this division is Dina Thorslund. I know that girl. She's actually, well, I don't personally know her, but I've seen her fight. She's a beautiful lady. She knows how to fight. Not the biggest puncher in the world. She got 6 KOs, 16-0. She could easily unify for that. But if she wants to beat this girl up, Miss Johan Luna, I call her a female Margarito. Definitely take that fight. Take her out the way. She actually fought on my birthday. Wow. You weird son of a bitch. But nah, I think honestly, like, if she really wants to, she should just unify with Luna or beat up Dina to get that title, and then whoever has the WB, Dina has the WBO, Luna has the WBC, and then Shannon got the WBA. So whoever has the IBF, which is probably Zulina, if I'm not mistaken. This girl, she's pretty good too. I like Paulette Valenzuela. I love watching Mexican females, man. They're so good at fighting. But nah, like, I mean, let the sky's not the limit for her. She's doing what she has to do. I think the person that has the IBF is Cecilia Roman. Yeah, she actually does have it. I'm almost positive. But whoever has the IBF, she needs to unify. Just go for the IBF and then do her thing. But if I could find who's the IBF world champion, it would make things a lot easier. Yeah, I'll just go to champions and then we'll see who is the champion at female bantamweight. Because I'm almost positive that the IBF is vacated for bantamweight. Who is IBF? IBF. Oh, Melissa. She's actually... No, she's the IBO. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I guess Maria Roman, that lady that beat Carolina Dewar back in the day, she's actually the IBF world champion. But if that's vacated, then I would go after that and then twirl back around, beat up Miss who else? Dina Thorslund, and then go after Johan. I'd probably take out Johan. That'd be a good fight. I mean, at least that the bantamweight female division is pretty diverse, so it's not like any of these girls should really make any excuses not to fight to not to fight each other, because the competition's gonna get good, and I mean, it's not really that big of a division anyway, so I hope that does happen. I like to see that out of her. But let's talk about the other fighter, Miss Terri Harper. See, now look, I love Terri. She's a good woman. She seems like a good woman. I don't know what she gets into, but part of me feels like she's a bit of a hype job, and I don't want to jump the gun so quick on her, because she seems to be that type of woman that really does care about fighting the best, but can we really take her seriously on that? I mean, yes, she's fought some good quality level opponents, and I'd say the only good victories was the Catharnia Thanders fight, and just the Natasha Jonas fight, even though that came to a draw, but still, you got to give that woman some props. She's not giving any, like, she's not making any easy routes. She's taking really dangerous, difficult routes to make a statement and to elevate herself to the next level to be good. And at least she's willing to fight the best because she's not the one ducking and dodging nobody. But then again, that's all to be determined sooner than later in the future. I heard that she was supposed to fight. She was supposed to fight that Queen Mi Choi girl. She's that Korean girl that is the WBA world champion. As Terry, she's WBC world champion. So I guess like Terry, she broke her hand or some shit and she got injured. So that fight got canceled for now. But I guess when she's back into the mix, she'll be ready to fight a girl like her maybe in the future. I mean, I find it really surprising because it's like, Choi, or I rather just call her Choi. Choi, she hasn't really been active ever since the Triple G fight. So I'm just kind of curious, is she going to like stay active to like get some more fights in before she fights a Terry Harper? Because if it makes all the sense in the world, I would rather just unify with who else? Who's the other champion at 130? I know Michaela's there, Queen Mi Choi, or Choi's there, Harper is there. I think the other champion is who's the other champion? Who's the IBF? IBF female. Hold on. Female super featherweight champion. Super featherweight. I know the name, but I just can't remember it. I don't know, honestly, because I'm almost positive that the IBF is vacated. Yeah, IBF, 130, yes. As of June. What? What? Are you kidding me? That is not right. That is not right. You can't tell me that there's no women in the IBF. There's no female IBF world champion? Yo, get that belt, Michaela. Jesus. I could be wrong, honestly. Let me just take a look at Michaela and I'll just go from there. I'm almost positive that the IBF is completely vacated, or if somebody has it. If Delphine has it, that'd be... Yeah, no, she has a IBO. She's still fighting at 130, but she's 36 years old. Jesus. I don't know who has the IBF. Who has like the IBF, man? Yeah, we just go here. Let's see who got it. I'm almost positive that it's vacant. Yeah, that it's vacant. It has to be vacant because nobody else is fighting for it. Yeah, this girl, Kalopi Karuni. Yeah, I know this girl. It's that Greek woman. Yep, she's that Greek lady that's. Yeah, I don't think she has it. Yeah, she hasn't defended it in a long time. So she's defended it back in 2017, and now it's like, is it vacated? Like I'm kind of confused there. Like I don't see how anybody's not going after that belt unless she has it and she's gonna make a defense on it. See, like, what I don't like out of BoxRec is that they don't keep you up to date of who has like the IBF belt or whatever belts in line for the next fight, because it makes no sense at all. Like, it should at least tell you like who's going to get the IBF title. Yeah, women's, IBF. Yeah, so I guess yeah, I guess as far as like the history goes for the 130-pound female IBF title, it's nowhere to be talked about. Yeah, so the IBF is completely vacated. It seems like it, coming from BoxRec, but I could be wrong on that. But yeah, I think Terry, she's a decent fighter, to say the least. I don't think she's the type of woman to really make herself a bigger threat. because the only weakness I see out of Terry is that she doesn't have power, and when she gets clipped, as we've seen it from the Natasha Jonas fight, I think she's like really chinny. You know what I'm saying? And I could be wrong on that, but that's like my biggest criticism towards Terry. And I think that will haunt her if she does meet a fighter in, let's just say, Michaela, or let's say that Mavia Hamadouche lady. I'm sorry if I butchered the last name, but if Mavia beats Michaela, which seems very likely because Mavia, she's a big puncher, by the way. It may not seem like it in her fights, but she can knock some ladies out, man. She's really good at what she does, and she's so calm, she's so vivid, and she really makes those combinations come to work. But that should be a pretty interesting fight between her and Michaela. I would favor Michaela if she boxes smart, but if she F's around and gets clipped, Mavia, she could easily put her to sleep, because the one thing about Michaela is that she leaves her chin wide open to get clipped. When she doesn't move around, she just sits inside the telephone booth, inside the pocket, and she's just there to like come out there and start banging with you. And I don't like that out of her. She has all the tools and advantages at 130 to like use her jab and make herself a bigger threat to so many other fighters, because the only tough fight for a girl like Terry would be, I would say, Michaela Mayer. That's pretty much it. I don't think the Huyen Mi Choi girl would be too much of a test. I think honestly Terry would just style on her, and she probably could knock her out, because don't get it twisted, Terry, she does have power, but I don't think her power holds up late game. It's early game. So that's my particular analysis out of her. But if she does do a good job with maintaining the ring control and the ring IQ and the ring generalship, then she's like, she wins all day, because she has the athletic mobility to keep the fight inside the center of the ring. And that's what I love about Terry, because she is a good fighter, and I definitely do give a lot of props. But do I say she's not the best British fighter? No, I don't think so. I still think she's kind of green in the sport. I mean, she's only 23 years old. She's not that far away from me, as I'm 26. But I think, honestly, she's a good fighter. She has all the tools to have that, how should I say? She fights like almost like a Ricky Hatton in a way, but she's like better than him in a way. I don't know. It's kind of weird for me to say that, because Ricky Hatton's a completely different fighter. But the way she moves in the ring and how she outboxes people, she really has that Ricky Hatton-ish style. And I don't like putting females next to male fighters like that. But if you were to give me the option to use any fighter to put her next to, she's like a Ricky Hatton, but just a lesser version of it, because she's just her own unique fighter. And I think her levels are going to get better when she starts facing the higher opposition, win, lose, or draw. So I'll definitely be looking forward to see a woman like Terry face all the champions, because I think every champion's willing to fight one another. But I mean, if the IBF is open for grabs, then I say go get the IBF, get that title out the way, and then just unify and go for undisputed. Because I don't think Michaela's gonna stay at 130 for too much longer. I think she's only gonna be there to try to go for undisputed. It'll be like a fighters tournament in a way. Honestly, I really wish that there was Super 6 tournaments for both men's and women's boxing more, because it's like there's really not enough tournaments to like actually determine who's at the best. And that's why I've always been arguing to say that champions should be forcing themselves to be mandatories against other champions, because it makes no sense for you to hold your title for that sanctioning body, and if I'm coming from like the WBC or the IBO or wherever, well, yeah, I'll throw in the IBO, because at least at the IBO, they do their job. Yeah, the IBO does their job regardless of how unpopular people may think it is. But I mean, if I'm a champion, theoretically, regardless of the politics, I should be able to force a mandatory against you if I'm going to represent my sanction body against yours. And I feel like if I'm going to be at the top and you're at the top with me, we have to be forced to fight each other because there can only be one fighter coming out of the mountain. There can't be one or two fighters coming out of the mountain because it makes no sense if nobody ain't gonna fight each other. And look, I understand, you can't force a man or a woman to fight you, but if I can't get a fight with you and I am trying to achieve my goal, I should have the ability to force myself to be a mandatory within your sanctioning organization, which I don't even know if it's even necessary to have title belt organizations in boxing. It should just be like the NBA or the UFC in a way, where you have fight league organizations that compete against each other, and then they represent their own titles as that organization. So if you have like the GBG belt organization or fight league organization, you have an undisputed title. So that league has like the best fighters representing that league, and then let's just say the UFC comes in with their boxing organization, and then they have their undisputed champion, and then there's 6 other more leagues that do the same thing. What they can do is that every time when the undisputed champion is made, there could be a cross-platform undisputed championship tournament where it's like a Super 6 tournament where you have like all the champions from like all the competing organizations, and then they all fight each other if they want to do it. And I think that makes all the sense in the world, because it's like, if it's one face, one name for that one organization, and the belt itself is, still going to be traded around between who's going to be good or not. Because I don't like to me, I like to see multiple belts be held by different organization bodies. And the reason why I'm not really a fan of having one face, one name for one belt per per organization is that the corruption could still be there if you allow certain people of that organization to give political leniency to a fighter that they know, and then the fighter themselves can't fairly be represented in a fair matchmaking setting where that fighter deserves a title shot over the other fighter, and there's no sequential sequence, or there's no sequential order to make sure which fighter gets gets all the extra, or gets the fair end of the deal to get to their goal. Because I think the biggest problem in boxing now is that matchmaking sucks, and matchmaking is not fair altogether, because all the fighters are fighting basically as free agents or signed fighters or signed network fighters, and then they let their promoters protect them. That's really how boxing is. And it's like, it's really stupid, because it's like, if I want to fight you, you want to fight me, and let's just say you're from you're from this fight league and I'm from that fight league. Let's just say I'm from Top Rank Fight League and then you're from PBC Fight League, and I'm trying to get up to a world championship for Top Rank, and then let's just say you want to do it for PBC. If we fight each other and one of us does beat each other, then our stock gets higher, and then you move up through the rankings, and then I still have to reclimb back up to face more fighters, and I could basically become a free agent of my own to take any fight offers as I want, because I'm still going to be recognized through my own organization if the money is right, and then the other organization would benefit too. So it would make all the sense in the world for the fighters to fight each other as a cross-platform, and then in-house as well, because it generates more money for the future. But on top of that, if we're going to have sanctioning bodies in boxing in a free market setting, at least have it in the sense of, it has to go through a fair consumer-based network where the fans themselves are putting money into the belt, not the fighters, because it's legalized robbery to take money out of a fighter's purse and put it towards, the belt, when we all know that the belt itself is just a belt. Who the hell cares about a belt? Because just because Shannon Courtney is a WBA super world champion, yeah, like that, like that ever means anything. But it's like, what's the difference between a super and a regular champion? The super champion is just the WBC franchise champion. It should just be one face, one name per belt organization. Have a main belt for the championship and just have a mandatory interim belt, and that's it. I'd say that's good. If we're if we're gonna have belt fight belt organizations, where they have to be, they have to be run through a mechanized, decentralized network where the fans, aka the consumers, are the ones keeping them in check. Because if they're not going to let this fighter fight that other guy for the number one spot, and they're just going to have like a council committee vote to determine who will be the mandatory for this champion, no, that doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's either you let the number one guy fight the champion, or if he's not going to be able to fight the champion because the champion wants to unify with the other organization body, then the number two guy should just fight the number one guy. Not just like put the number one guy out and then let these two other people fight for a mandatory eliminator spot. No, like those two guys should fight each other to climb up to get the number one, and the number one should be next in line to fight the champ. But that's why I said that I think mandatory should be applied for being a champion in boxing, because if I'm a champion and I'm coming up from, let's just say, the WBO, and I want to challenge for that same belt at a different division, then I'm going to go after that belt. But then if I'm a champion and I want to ticket myself in to be a mandatory for the WBC or the WBA or the IBF or IBO, whatever belt that you guys want to, rock with, I should be the champion. Because if I'm a champion, I should automatically be next in line to say, I want Mike Tyson. He is in my division. I'm a champion. He's a champion. So I'm going to force myself to be a mandatory if he don't want to fight me. And then if he don't want to fight me, then the mandatory should step in to basically fight me for his world title if the sanctioning body is not going to benefit from their own champion ducking me. So I think that makes all the sense in the world, because if you're going to avoid me, if I could force myself to be a mandatory, at least you could lose your belt, and then somebody else next in line can go get your title. And tough luck, because if I'm going to become a mandatory, if I choose to, not just to say that not every champion would want to do that, because some other champions don't want to fight each other, because you're gonna have that situation where you're gonna probably see like another Klitschko brothers issue, where you see the two brothers, or let's just say 3 or 4 brothers, become world champions, and then they don't want to fight each other. But if they're not going to, but let's just say if the organization themselves want, force them to unify, and it's always going to be like that, like each and every single title belt organization makes a lot of money, and then they force their champions to unify with other champions, then that makes all the sense in the world, because that gets rid of ducking altogether. Because in the UFC, you really can't duck. It's either you want to move up or you get out of at the UFC. That's how the UFC works. That's how Bellator works. And I don't see how boxing can do that. Boxing can still have multiple belts, but you have to force it in a way where if this belt wants to unify with another belt, and let's just say I'm the champion and you're the opposing champion, but you want to avoid me, I should have full legal rights to be a mandatory against you if I'm a champion, because I've already earned my spot as a champion, so I should have full pressure and momentum to push a fight in my direction. It makes all the sense, because I could contact that organization, order, have that fight be ordered, and then boom. That's how the best should be fighting should be fighting the best. If they don't, if one ducker wants to avoid the other best fighter in his or her division, and then it gets rid of all that ducking nonsense. But yeah, let me finish up with the rest of these fighters. I wanted to talk about Miss who else? Who's that other British fighter that I have some issues with. Oh yeah, April Hunter. Yeah, that woman. Um, I don't really care so much about April. I don't think she's that good. Not yet. I mean, she's obviously coming into the sport pretty late, but she's like that type of fighter where she kind of like lets her hands go here and there, but then she kind of gets hit at times where she gets clipped. And I want to say like she's like really like amateurish. I don't know. Every time when I see her fight, she doesn't really have like the like the momentum and the punch quality to kind of like keep opponents pressured away from her. But I think her style is pretty much a very slow start style, and she likes to smother a lot whenever she gets an opponent to the ropes or when she's inside the pocket. But I don't see her really having too much of a problem at 147 because it's not like there's really that many women in the division to begin with. But maybe like in the future, if she does plan to like fight some top tier American, or I wouldn't even say top tier because there's really no good fighters in the female welterweight division. But if we can see a good fight, maybe a fight with who else? Maybe that Carly Holman girl. I like to see that. That would be a decent fight to watch. It seems like her skill level would be on par with Carly, and I think Carly she needs a good fight. She needs somebody of a decent skill set, and that would be a good fight for both ladies. But the only problem that I just have with April is just that she really fights women that she knows she can beat. She doesn't fight women that she doesn't know she can't beat. Because, when she meets a girl with athleticism or some girl that has good boxing IQ and punching power to keep her on, on caution in the fight, I think April, she's going to be in a lot of trouble, with a fighter like that. But I say as of now, she's safe. She obviously doesn't have anything else going on in her division because Jessica McCaskill is like the only woman that's undisputed in the whole division. And I'm happy that Jessica she won against Cecilia Brækhus because Cecilia Brækhus, man, she was just picking and choosing opponents at that point. I mean, yes, I get it, you're undisputed. She actually would have beat Joe Louis's record if she had beat McCaskill the first time for 23 world title defenses. She would have had 24 if she had beat her that night. But I give Cecilia all the love and respect in the world. She's a great woman. I give her a lot of praise because I looked up to her when I was like a little kid, and throughout my years of watching boxing, ever since I was young, I've always thought of Cecilia to be that, I don't know if it's like a little bit biased for me to say it, but she had a Muhammad Ali-ish type, where she was very fast on her feet. She had a really good jab, especially when she was younger. She was whooping on ladies with that with that mean quick jab, and she was just good, man. She really like. The younger version of Cecilia Brækhus could possibly stop Jessica McCaskill if Cecilia were to face those type of fighters. But I think Cecilia, she's been so, how should I say, she's been too comfortable fighting women of her caliber that makes those victories a lot easier than expected. And then when she started to fight a rough, rugged fighter and Jessica McCaskill, I think that's when she, didn't take Jessica too seriously in the first fight, and then she got her butt whooped, and then she thought that she could, be the same old lady from the past in the second fight, which she never used any of her tools in the second fight as well with the first fight. She just got, she just got pounded on. So, I definitely give Jessica, her props. I think honestly, like, there's really not that many females that could really fight each other in the welterweight division, because it seems like that the welterweight division is just really bad, along with like the super welterweight and above divisions that aren't really getting any better. Because I could definitely agree with some other female fighters that say that women cannot sell at bigger divisions compared to men, because at least with guys, you already know who those guys are. So it's like the faces of those divisions are definitely going to keep popping up more. But for the girls, they definitely have a lot of development to do before we could ever see a female version of like David Benavidez type fighting style, or like a female version that fights like Canelo Alvarez. But it would be good though. I mean, I'm all for it, because that is what will sell all the bigger tickets and the more money in the sport. But as far as with women's boxing, it's definitely a dying breed that needs to be fixed. But in particular to British boxing, the women are at least doing a decent job. I would say like the only fighters I really like is I'd say Chantel Cameron, which I don't think too highly of all the time, because I think she's kind of just like taking her time with having her world title, and I would hope she starts unifying so that way she could at least make some buzz in the States more, which I didn't think that she really won against Melissa Hernandez. She obviously got a early stoppage victory that didn't make any sense, and the fans actually booed at her for it, so she knew that she wasn't even hurting her. But as far as every other fighter goes, my last couple British fighters that I have some massive criticism towards would be I'll probably go with Jordan Reynolds, and I was gonna say Archie Sharp or Zachary Parker, but I'll probably go with Archie Sharp. He seems to be like the bigger douchebag that talks all that shit. No, wait, actually no. Let me replace him with Fabio Wardley. Yeah, Fabio Wardley. That's gonna be like the new Dillian White, of the heavyweight division. I could literally see that shit from a mile away. But let's talk about Mr. Oh fuck, who's that other British fighter I just said? Oh my god, I said Fabio Wardley, and I said Jordan Reynolds. Yeah, Jordan Reynolds. Okay, so peep this. Jordan Reynolds was, I guess, like a former Olympian, and this motherfucker came into the game so late in his career. I think he's like 25, 26 years old, but his very first two fights were against bums with losing records. I kid you not. And I will look that up right now, because I know for a fact Jordan has not been facing anybody that good. And I know Jordan, you're probably listening to your critics, but let me tell you something. The level of opposition this guy has faced was just, pathetic, man. Absolutely pathetic. But, oh wait, is Nick's birthday today? Oh, sweet, yes. I have to, wish him happy birthday. Yes, his very first two opponents. First guy had 6-6 record. But if we look back at this guy, he's fought guys with losing records. His first 4 wins. The first guy was 5-77. Second guy, 0-21. Third guy, 7-87. Fourth guy, 4 wins, 46 losses. You're telling me that Jordan beat a good fighter in this guy? Get the fuck out of here. So then the next fight, we look at Jan Arden. This weird ass, terrible southpaw. Can't even use his abilities right. This guy has lost to guys with pro debut or decent winning records. I'm pretty sure all these guys are garbage, by the way. But yeah, as expected, like European fighters are really not that good. But we could see Jordan's opponents that he's been facing has poor level of opposition, and they're not that good. We can all oh shit, um, we can already see that Jordan is obviously not wanting to pick some really hard killers. I actually wouldn't mind this guy, Ivan Vasquez. This guy has a pretty high knockout ratio, but hey, why not make this fight? I actually wouldn't mind seeing that. But if he wants to, he can probably go after a guy like maybe Austin Williams. I actually wouldn't mind that fight. But if you want to, maybe go after... Man, I don't even know most of these middleweights. The middleweight division is like really weak right now. But let's say if you're going to step it up against some really top killers, we should probably go with maybe... I wouldn't mind Antonio Tarver Jr. That would be a pretty good fight stylistically. But if he doesn't want to go that direction, he could go after Mr. Christopher Hatley. I know he's a good fighter. I've heard some really good things about him. Very good fighter, talented. He's fought some decent competition, to say the least. But let's say Mr. Who else is good? Not Vincent Floyd, not even Manny Woods. Yeah, man, I don't know, honestly. Because it's like, there's really not that many decent names that I know from middleweight. But, let's see. Maybe he can go for, Del Vecchio Savage. That fight seems like Del Vecchio would kind of fuck around and lose. I know stylistically, he could definitely have a good fight with, Gabriel Goldman, he's 15 years old? Dang, this kid's 15 years old, starting his pro career. Already got 2 knockouts, good for you. Omar Contreras, yeah, he's a good fighter. I've heard something about him. No, that's not bad, good for him. Actually, no, let me just go on to the middleweight. Yeah, I'd rather just look at American middleweights. But yeah, some good fighters that he could probably go after if he's looking to compete against Americans. Let's see. Man, I actually wouldn't mind. Let's see. Not that many good names out here. I don't know a lot of these guys, so forgive me. Oh, Fernando Vargas. Fernando Vargas would be a really good fight. I actually wouldn't mind that fight. Jose Rodriguez Jr., I've heard about him. He's a good fighter. I like to see, Andrew Murphy. That'd be a decent win if you want to go for that. Guy has 2 KOs. That's pretty good. He needs to probably step up his competition a bit more. Let's see. Who else is good? Oh, yeah, Eric Priest is a good opponent, too. I actually like watching him. I follow him on Instagram. He's a really good fighter. Let's see. Nobody else, huh? Wow. Damn, man. We need more American, middleweights. But let's see. I let the number 1 spot. I know that, I don't want to be jumping on the gun too much on that, but Jamal Charlo, hell no. Charlo would kill him. Nikita Bobby, I'd like to see that fight. Nikita hasn't been fighting at all lately. Like, I find that really sad because it's like he's been out the ring for like almost a year. But I'm hoping, I'm hoping that like we could see him back in the ring pretty soon. I think that would be a good fight for Jordan if he wants to uplift his career faster. Or fight Mr. Isaiah Seldon. That'd be pretty good. Or maybe Brandon Maddox. I actually wouldn't want to see that fight. But, oh yeah, another good fight would be Joey Spencer and Lorenzo Truck Simpson. I actually wouldn't mind seeing those fights either. And, yep, I already said about Austin Williams. Maybe Kyrone Davis. Kyrone, he's a beast, by the way. He's no joke. That motherfucker would definitely kill him in a fight. I think a lot of good fighters on here, including Chorneil Booker. I actually, was like arguing with a Jordan Reynolds Dick Rider fan, and I told that lady or that person that he should fight Chordale Booker. That actually would be a pretty good fight. Or maybe Tyler Howard. Tyler Howard, yeah, he's okay. Not the best fighter in the world, because I heard he's actually going to fight Berlanga, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not even too sure if that fight is actually going to happen, but that would be pretty decent. Anything else with other fighters? Fred Wilson Jr. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I actually wouldn't mind that fight. He's not the biggest puncher in the world. He's only 6-0, so gotta give him some time. I guess that's almost it. I can't think of any more fighters. Yeah, it seems like everybody else is just kind of like sitting, chilling. Not really too many good fighters I can really see from this list. Antonio Tarver Jr., Fred Wilson, who else? Fucking Lorenzo Chuck Simpson. Yeah, when is Lorenzo coming back? I'd like to see him back, man. He's a good fighter, because he definitely deserves his worth. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Oh sweet, he's gonna fight Manny Woods. Who is this guy? Oh yeah, he looks like a pretty good, decent guy. Good little stay busy fight. Yeah, I definitely like to see that, because he hasn't fought since the Sonny Duverson fight. But yeah, definitely like to see this kid fight again, because he is a problem. Crazy. But that's pretty much what I have to say about UK fighters. Oh, yeah, let me just cover on Mr. Fabiana Wardley. that'll be Dillian White's long lost sister. This nigga really said after his fight with who else? Who's that one fighter? I guess his name is Eric Molina Jr. Yeah, Eric Molina Jr. This man literally said Eric was like one of his toughest fights ever, and I need to be tested like this, but I know I could beat up every other heavyweight out there. And I'm just like sitting here laughing, because I'm just like, you realize you didn't even do anything. You just got your ass whooped. You know, mid to late game of the fight, till, you know, Fabio had a good shot on Eric and then knocked him out. But it really wasn't too much of a fight to really say Fabio actually did his thing. So I mean, I kind of give him all the credibility for beating a Eric Molina, because he's not no slouch. But you could have picked somebody a lot better. And I can easily name 5 other heavyweights that would be willing to kill him in the ring. And that would be guys like, let's just say, Jared Anderson. I know damn sure he does not want any piece of him. You sure so would never want to fight Jermaine Franklin. I think that's too much of a big step up. But I mean, look, if you want to make it big in the heavyweight division, you got to take those fights. How about even a fight with Steven Torres? I actually want to mind that fight. That'd actually be a really fun fight to watch. And let's say Dakari Scott. That would be a really flame fight. I think Fabio would definitely get clipped a lot more in that fight, and he would probably not be able to knock out his opponents that many try to like dick ride to say he can. But you know, a kid like Dakari is no joke. He like, you know, he comes in there to knock you out, but he comes in there to box before he kills you in the ring. And last but not least, I probably go with maybe a guy like, shit, who else is in the heavyweight division? I know that there's some really good heavyweights on the come up, but if we go to the heavyweight division, Mr. Heavyweight Division, where are you? Yeah, as far as other good heavyweights out there, let's see. I know this one good fighter. He's so good, but I forgot his name though. That's the thing. I was gonna say Frank Sanchez, but That wasn't the right one. Oh, is it Darmani Rock? No, no, not him. I actually wouldn't mind Michael Coffey beating him up too. That actually would be a pretty good fight. Let's see, Brandon Moore. Nah. Man, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm taking so much space in this video, but last fighter or another good fighter he could face. Man, where is he? I'm trying to find him. Not Efe Ajagba either, but I'm trying to find this guy, man. I know he's an American heavyweight. Yeah, let me just kind of, go to the American heavyweight section. Oh yeah, Michael Hunter. Well, no, Michael Hunter. Yeah, he's a contender, but I actually wouldn't mind Trevor Bryan either. No, yeah, definitely Trevor Bryan would kill him, but yeah, I mean, as far as a good fighter, if he wants to step it up, definitely my boy. Yeah, my boy, Stephen Shaw. That'll be a really good fight for him, because he definitely will give Fabio the work, and Fabio will struggle against a boxer puncher, especially pure boxer that has power in Mr. Stefan Shaw. But if that's not something he wants, shit, go after Sonny Kanto. I actually wouldn't mind that fight either. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. I hope you guys do enjoy it. It was a pretty good video while it lasted. Let me know what you guys think about British fighters. Do you think British fighters for British boxing is as good as it's painted out to be by the British media? Do you think some of these fighters can actually make it to that top world title contention to generate more champions than for what we see now? And like, what are the future plans that you would have for these British fighters if you were managing them for their career? So yeah, let me know what you guys think. This is Kieran Rodriguez signing out. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Thank you. Bye.